Hey everybody, this is the Demolition Man from Venom Inc. and you're watching Impact Channel.
Greetings everyone, we are here with Tony from Venom INC.
Yeah, how are you? Good to see you.
And nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, and you too. Yeah, absolutely.
How are you? How is it to read Suffocation and Nervosa?
Brilliant, great. I mean, we have a truly international tour here, package.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's something that myself and Mantis have been, seeing from stage for a long, long time. That the beauty about our music and about metal in particular is that it crosses all kinds of platforms. It breaks down language barriers or religious barriers or political barriers, and it brings everybody on the planet together. And each tour try and make it a bit of everything to show everybody that it's all one thing, that we're all joined together. And so, on this tour we have Survive from Japan, we have Eternum, who are French-Canadian, Nervosa, again, from Brazil, Suffocation from the USA, and of course ourselves from the UK. So it's kind of hand-picked to put together, different styles, to show that we're all one thing, we're just parts of the same thing, and also how international we are. So all these different languages. I mean, if we all wore flags for all of our nationalities on stage, you're looking at maybe 10 countries in total. I think that's kind of amazing. So yeah.
Do you have any special ritual before you go on stage?
A special ritual? I guess we kind of not totally. I think we kind of like to be a bit quiet, Mantis likes to, just be sort of quiet and get his mind in gear. I like to kind of walk around and build myself up, because I think that for me the performance is like going into a fight. It's like I'm ready to present the music with as much passion as possible. And I think you can't just do it and let go, so it takes me a while to get ready to perform, and then it takes me a little while to come back down again, so that the performance is everything. We deliver everything we have on stage, and that's important to me, particularly with this type of music. I think if it was you're endlessly touring in U2 or the Rolling Stones, that's a performance, of course. But with this kind of music, you have to be passionate with it. It's what it demands, and the audience need to feel that, and then they'll release themselves. So it's kind of like, when you've had a bad day and you want to just scream, or you want to go home and put Slayer on and go, or Immortal or whatever. It's just your release. And that's what I want to do with our stage show, give people an hour and a half or 2 hours of just a release where they can be anything they want to be. There's no rules. They can just let themselves go. So that takes a bit of time for us to get ready for that. But other than that, we don't burn chickens or rape any virgins or anything like that. Just that.
Have you thought about that?
I have thought about that, actually. Yeah, virgins are very hard to find these days.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we eat the chicken normally before dinner. So yeah.
And what do you feel when you're performing on stage? What's in your mind?
Purely the music. I used to, I talked about this the other day with someone. I used to, when people would say, who's your favorite guitarist? I used to think like, I don't really have one, If I heard a riff that was good, or a song that was good, that was kind of it for me. And I never judged a musician on their playability at all, because some technical people are amazing, but they write music that doesn't really touch me in my heart.
They just practice a lot.
Yeah, and then there's other people who play simple kind of things, and then that really affects me. Like a B.B. King, who could play one note 50 million ways and make you cry or be happy. So it's purely about the feeling of it. But then when I looked into that, I used to think like, you'd see guitarists with their eyes closed singing notes and think, what is happening there? And realizing that they actually lose themselves in the music. It becomes an extension of them. you know, and it's why I love playing with Mantis and we have together for so long, because we just love playing. And when we play together, it's like our instruments are part of us, and we lose ourselves in that. And it's always such great fun. So I guess that's it. And the more that the audience come with us, the more beautiful it is, you know. And that's the ultimate thing, to apex, you know, to take an audience, whether they're, you know, happy to be there, curious to be there, or they came just to see what was going on, to take them from that first moment to the apex, so that by the time we play a black metal or a battery or something like that, you know, we become one thing. Everybody's just one thing, you know, and that's the ultimate pleasure indeed, is to get to that point where there is no them and us, there's just us, yeah.
The perfect synergy.
Yes. I mean, and I think it should be the ultimate goal, you know, for every band, I think, because the fans, you know, when somebody buys your music, you're not with them, you're not there, and they don't know you. So they take the music home, and it's the music that speaks to them, not you, it's the music. So when they come to the show, that's what I want. I want them to feel that moment again, sonically, just through the music, and not worry about anything else, no bills, no politics, no nothing. Just feel the music and let it fill them with joy, you know. And I think that's the beauty of that, you know. And when you think on a political level that most governments or local principalities or whatever, you know, will look at heavy metal in particular and think it's bad, as opposed to all the nice pop music and all of that being good from a commercial point of view, okay. But I've never seen anybody come out of concerts that I've been to that played metal not smiling, not exhausted, not sweating, not all being part of one thing, you know. And that's what we do. We know that because we're on the inside. They try and say negatives, but it's positive. It's absolutely positive. You know, this kind of music, in particular for us as well as stories we've had, but I think this music in particular gives you strength, helps you through bad times. You know, it supports you. And so do the bands and the fans. We all support each other, you know, and that's what's amazing about it. It's a real sense of community, and not just here, but literally from the tip of Japan to the tip of Argentina, from the tip of Alaska to the tip of New Zealand. There is nowhere you could go on the planet where you'll find a rock or a metal fan that doesn't feel exactly the same. You know, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Who was the craziest fan you have ever met?
The craziest fan? There's lots and lots of crazy fans. I don't know, I think the craziest fan's probably going to be hard to do, but we've done some shows where, I remember we were in Quebec once, and it was very, very cold. We were playing, and a guy had stood outside the show for like hours. I mean, and it was freezing. I mean, freezing, and he waited outside, and we came out. He didn't see us before the show. He was trying to see us before the show, but I can't remember where we were. But anyway, he didn't get to see us. When we came after the show, he said, "Oh my God, I was waiting for you since 6 o'clock in the morning." We were like, "Oh fucking hell!" So he wanted his skin signed. So we signed his skin because he didn't have anything else to sign. And then the next time we turned up, which was probably 8 months later, he'd had them all tattooed. And I thought, wow. You know, and a guy called Mark Canapel turned up at a show, a good friend of ours, but he turned up at a show in Belgium, and he pulled his trouser leg up, and my face was tattooed on his trouser leg, and I was like, oh my God, you know, again was a wonderful thing. But you know, we see so many tattoos, in particular black metal tattoos. There's a guy in Germany that we know who has a black metal tattoo on his neck. And I don't know if you've ever had a tattoo, but it can sting a little bit depending on where you get it. On your neck is like painful, but there it is, the full black metal tattoo, you know, and you think, wow, that's how significant Venom's music was, and how music impacts on you, you know, that someone wants to, it's so much part of them that they're proud to wear it, you know, with t-shirts and patches and all of that, you know, we wear it on the outside, who we are, you know. And I think again that's that's another beautiful thing, is where so many people, politicians in particular, but so many people hide who they truly are. You know, rock and metal fans, you know who they are. You can see who they are. They show you who they are through their artwork, through how they wear themselves. You know, we don't hide anything. We're honest about ourselves. You know, and that's acceptable. You know, we accept people because of that. You know, I think that's an incredible thing. And again, another massive positive thing when you know, if you hear from the police that some guy in your neighborhood has been, you know, holding people in his basement, cooking them up for dinner, it's never some kind of rock guy who's nuts and smoking joints and going to rock shows. It's not the guy who's into Behemoth or something. It's the guy who runs the magazine shop at the corner with the little glasses on, the guy who always was really quiet, you know, and that's the difference. Most people tend to hide themselves away and wish they were this or wish they were that, whereas what our music does and what the fans do is they're proud of who they are and what they like, you know, and so I think that's wonderful, yeah. But yeah, crazy fans are, you know, part of it, you know, it's a passion, you know, and as much as people like it, you know, like people, of course, you know, from my point of view, people going how wonderful it is and everything else. You know, I was attacked in the early days, you know, because I wasn't the other guy. But I never took that, you know, as much as it's uncomfortable, you want people to like you, but when they don't, as long as they're passionate about it, that's what the point is, you know, they're passionate about the music. And I understand that because I'm the same. So, you know, that's great. So the crazier the fan is, the more passionate, you know.
Do you have a funny tour story to share with us?
A funny tour story. I don't think there's any funny tour stories. There's lots of bad tour stories. I don't think we should probably share some of those. Maybe they're not right to be going, but yeah, we kind of these days, you know, in the old days we'd be a bit nuts, you know, and have more fun and drinking and doing things, you know, not crazy bad stuff really, but just, you know, nutty stuff like, you know, running around hotels with, you know, extinguishers and doing all kinds of stuff like that, trying to throw people out buses while they were moving and stuff. But these days we're quite sedate, we're quite gentlemanly, so we, after the show, we like to go on and be quite quiet and stuff. And on this tour out there, because there's so many bands, we actually have two buses, so Venom Inc., we're travelling in kind of our own environment, while the other bus has Suffocation and everybody on, and because they're crazy, not crazy, so they all party like crazy all night, and we just go and have our tea and relax and go to bed, because we're kind of older statesmen now, so, and you know, I think, particularly for me and Jeff, that for us it's all about the performance, so we don't have any energy left after that, you know. So these days it's like, you know, it's time for bed, says everybody, so we like to just relax and be calm after the show and leave everything on stage, so yeah, nothing too crazy, yeah.
Your first full-length album came out last year. Are you happy with the reactions for Ave?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the whole thing with Venom Inc. was an accident. You know, myself and Jeff were working on M-pire of Evil, as people know, and we got this offer to do a show, and the promoter was keen on, you know, he'd seen Abaddon at the show I was doing where Jeff got up and played, and then he was like, oh, you know, maybe you guys could do a couple of Venom songs, and we did them in Empire, but not on purpose. It was like fans would ask for them, and we kind of worked, look, if someone wants to hear it, we'll play it, why not? It's music to be played. So that was what we did, but we didn't focus on the Venom stuff. We just incorporated it into our set if it was asked for. But Oliver Weishammer, Keep It True, was quite keen on wondering, you know, the festival he runs, Keep It True, is kind of a retro festival. It's all about the music, and it is a bit reminiscent and all of that. But it's a very good festival, and the fans really hungry, and they just want to hear good music. So he proposed this thing that if we had Abaddon there, would we do a couple of songs? And it was a bit difficult initially to kind of say we would do it, but it worked. We made it work, and the idea was just to do a show. We did 4 or 5 Venom songs at the end of our set as a surprise. Signed 4 fans that were there that had stuff with them, and then we were going to go home and just carry on with what we were doing. But it was kind of overnight. The video went up, people streamed it, and then we just got asked to play more shows. So we had to kind of think, well, should we or shouldn't we do this? And we thought, well, yeah, why not? I mean, who cares, you know? So we said yes, and that was like 3 years ago, and we haven't stopped. But the idea of doing an album, you know, it was something I was pushing against, because it then becomes something else. Because, you know, you have people want to review it and be critical of it, and then, you know, you have to find a market for it, and then you have to find a label for it. And what we were kind of doing before was just playing music together, the 3 of us, as Venom Inc. And it was purely about playing the songs to the fans. And for me, uncovering those songs, you know, that people hadn't heard, you know, seen How They Care, or, you know, Bit Rich, or, you know, anything like that people, Manitou, for example, we did in America, which had never been played in a live situation. And I wanted to expose those things, you know, just like, what is this? Play all of it what we're saying. You know, why not? It was never done, so let's do that. I mean, how much fun would that be? Okay, the people may be slightly different. I'm not Kronos, but he'll never do it, so why shouldn't we do it? You know, so that was the idea with it. And I thought, we've still got a whole catalogue of great work to do. If we start writing a new album, does it become something different? However, you know, John Zazula, who was our personal management, was very insistent on we should do something. So that's what we did, you know. Jeff was composing constantly all the time, so we went, okay, let's do it then. So I sort of kind of focused on the art side, while Jeff just started doing the compositions. We built it up like that, and then we got to a point where we need to be produced. So we got Nuclear Blast on board, and they offered some producers, and Zazula offered some producers, but Mantis said he'd like to produce. And now he had produced our stuff with M-pire, and I thought he'd done an incredible job. This was bigger challenge, of course, because it's for Nuclear Blast, but I thought, well, you know, at the end of the day, when they were going, but yeah, he wants to do it, do you think he could do that? And I said, well, look, yes, I know he could. And I said, but also the other thing is, if we went to another producer, they would probably do a great job. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but they don't know us like he knows us. He knows how he wants to sound, he knows how I want to sound, he knows how we should sound. So I said, we might as well just do it ourselves, because then it is who we are. And I think the result was a very honest album. It captures who we are in a live situation, which was also important to me. And we didn't try and make it something else. Like, we didn't. The mistake would have been trying to be Venom from 1981, or trying to be Venom from 1990, or, you know, trying to copy ourselves. It was like, we don't have to copy anything. We just have to be us. That's it. And I think that's what the result was. The reaction from it has been amazing. I mean, amazing. I mean, you know, a lot of pressure having to produce it. So for Jeff, you know, to have those accolades is fantastic, you know. But we didn't expect it. We didn't, you know, when you do an album, you have to do it for yourself. If you try and make an album that everybody wants to hear, you'll fail, because everybody wants to hear something different. You know, we could have put, the first single could have been Metal We Bleed. Pretty obvious to put it out, but we went for Downflight, not obvious, and people's reaction were like, what the fuck's going on? What the fuck is that? It's like, oh my god. And then after a week, people were writing us going, oh, actually, I really like that. Fuck, it's so different. Then we hear it in the album, they go, oh, right, it sits in a different place. So it's kind of like, you know, that kind of thing. We you know, Venom was never an obvious band. You know, if you look at the single releases, you know, Warhead, Manitou, you know, Bursting Out, or you know, Acid Queen, you know, Bloodlust, you know, there was always something different going on, you know, Seven Gates of Hell, you know. So there was always this movement thing, and no two albums felt the same as the next one. So, you know, to keep that freshness, it was like, let's not be obvious about it, let's just do what we want to do and put out whatever we want to put out. That's kind of the approach, you know. but again, the response has just been amazing. And then playing the songs live and having people singing them back, you know, that's when you know it's a winner. You know, when people are enjoying them so much, and putting them in a set, so you can play something like Live Like an Angel, which was the B-side of the first ever single, and play War next to it from Arvia, and it feels like it's the same thing. It feels like they're both the same freshness. They feel both new, you know, and that's what's amazing too. The same sound, same feel, same atmosphere. That's when you know that you've been honest with the music and it doesn't feel odd at all, you know. So yeah, it's brilliant. It's been brilliant.
Are you working on new stuff right now?
I think always the idea is to think of new stuff. I mean, Jeff's constantly writing anyway, you know, he just writes, and you know, they all get put somewhere, you know, his phone's full of stuff and his hard drives are full of stuff. I'm constantly noting, and when I'm at home, I'm constantly writing and thinking of things all the time, you know, and I think that's what the joy is, that we're constantly thinking of something new, you know. As far as composition for the next album, we have the M-pire album, which we actually were due to go back and finish after Keep It True. That was the idea. We had some bass, some vocal lines and stuff to put down, and then that was it. Mantis has a studio in Portugal where he lives. So, and it's a really nice environment. We just relax and, you know, we can take time. So we were going to go and do that, but we didn't get back to it. So we wanted like to complete that, and it's not the same as Venom. It's very different. But now the idea of having Arvia, we want to make a better album than that. And now we've got to that milestone, because also before, you know, when we were doing the M-pire things and the recordings, we were our own bosses. So, you know, I licensed the music, I was managing the thing, so we didn't have anybody to answer to. So we could do what we want when we wanted, take our time. Once we had Nuclear Blast, they gave a deadline, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's like a real job. It's like, we've got to be finished by then. So we did that. But the sense of achievement to do that, and knowing that we could do that and deliver something that was good, or that they were happy with, you know, I'm not being egotistical there. It's like, you know, we were happy with it, but they were happy with it. Means now we can target that. We know the process, and we know we can deliver. So I think probably we've got a busy schedule this year, but I think throughout the year, the compositions will be spiking themselves up, and as they come, we'll be aware of them, and we'll be pushing towards that album. So I think merely the end of the year for a March release 2019 will be the next album. We'll use the same process. In the meantime, though, we don't stop there, because I've been shooting videos. I'm putting together a DVD compilation, like it's a kind of like a bit of a documentary, but just our history of the last 3 or 4 years, which has been quite amazing. So I've been shooting stuff throughout the time, which I want to put together as like a program, you know, to go, there you go, that's where we evolved to the album and just beyond. And we have a 12-inch coming of War, an extended version from the album with a couple of live tracks, War and Warhead on the B-side. So that's a pending release to do. So again, like, you know, I could never understand why a band would like record an album and then 6 years later record another album, and they go, yeah, it took us 6 years. It's like, 6 years? What were you doing? How hard was that? Because we're so productive, and we always have been. It's like write, record, play, go out and play it. Write, record, play. You know, that's the process. So, and if you're writing more stuff quickly and it's exciting, we want to get it out, and then we want to go and play it. So, you know, I think that's the joy of this is, you know, it's so productive, you know.